Welcome back to Sexpertise. I'm your host, Erica Rivera, and tonight we're continuing our Reclaiming Pleasure After Pain series in honor of Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Last week, we talked about reconnecting to your body after trauma. This week, we're taking the next step, learning how to trust again, how to love again, and how to feel safe with someone new. Rebuilding intimacy after trauma isn't about pretending the past didn't happen. It's about learning to carry your story differently, with compassion instead of shame, and with awareness instead of fear. It's about creating relationships where safety isn't just assumed, it's chosen and practiced every single day. In tonight's episode, we'll explore how to build emotional safety, communicate boundaries with confidence, and nurture intimacy without losing yourself. Because love after trauma is possible. It begins with trust, and that trust begins with you. Emotional safety is the invisible heartbeat of intimacy, the quiet feeling of being held, not judged, heard, and not dismissed. It's what allows us to breathe easily in someone's presence, to share without fear that our truth will be used against us. For survivors of trauma, emotional safety often feels foreign, even suspicious, because their bodies learned early on that vulnerability equals risk. In healthy relationships, though, emotional safety is what transforms simple closeness into real connection. It's what makes love sustainable, communication honest, and pleasure genuine rather than performative. Safety is not a single act. It's an emotional climate that is nurtured moment by moment. It's built when our partners respond to our emotions rather than react to them. This is when disagreements don't automatically turn into danger, and when we can voice discomfort without fearing abandonment. That sense of reliability teaches the nervous system that it can exhale. It tells your inner self that you can relax, stay curious, and stay connected, even when things feel tender or uncertain. When emotional safety exists, love expands instead of contracts. We stop tiptoeing around our truth. We stop performing to keep the peace. Instead, we show up as our full selves, imperfect, expressive, alive. And that is when intimacy becomes transformative. Trust isn't a switch that you flip. It's a rhythm that returns slowly, like the body learning to walk again after injury. After trauma, many people want to trust but don't know how to feel it. The brain may say you're safe, but the body still whispers, "Remember what happened last time." That's why trust has to be rebuilt through repetition, through dozens of small, consistent actions that rewire the nervous system over time. Trust is proven, not promised. Think about it like tending a garden. You don't plant a seed and demand fruit tomorrow. You water it, you nurture it, you protect it from storms. Each consistent gesture, following through on plans, keeping confidences, Responding with calm instead of defensiveness acts as sunlight and water. Over time, the soil of safety grows richer. Your body begins to believe maybe it's safe to trust again. The beauty of rebuilding trust this way is that it's more grounded than before. It's not naive, it's conscious. It knows that trust is earned and not given blindly. And when that level of honesty meets mutual effort, love becomes sturdier, calmer, and far more enduring. Communication. My favorite part. We're moving into this quickly. Because usually I wait until like mid-episode to chat communication, but we're going to chat about it now. Communication after trauma has to sound and feel different. I think that's why I'm touching base on it pretty early on this episode. Survivors often navigate heightened sensitivity to tone, body language, and pacing. It's such an important part of rebuilding trust. A sigh, a raised eyebrow, or a long pause can feel pretty threatening, even if no harm is intended. That's why communication after trauma requires softness, less judgment, and more reassurance. Reassuring words like, I'm not upset, or you're safe here, are powerful nervous system cues that restore calm far faster than logical explanations. Listening without fixing is also key. When a survivor shares pain, resist the urge to debate or defend. Simply mirror back what you heard. That sounds overwhelming. Or, thank you for telling me. Validation heals in ways that advice cannot. It tells the other person that their experience is real and that they're not alone in it. Consistent communication builds new muscle memory around intimacy. Each time partners talk calmly through a misunderstanding, they rewrite an old pattern. Over time, conversation becomes connection instead of confrontation, and emotional intimacy deepens naturally. Disclosure is not confession, it's connection. You never owe anyone the full story of your trauma. You owe yourself the right to share only what feels supportive to your healing. The goal of disclosure isn't to relive pain, it's to create understanding. When you share intentionally, you're saying, this is part of how I need to be loved. Choose your timing wisely. Avoid disclosing in moments of conflict, heightened emotion, or pressure. Wait for quiet connection, a walk, or after a shared meal. Moments when both nervous systems are calm. And start small. A simple statement like, sometimes I freeze when I feel cornered. That communicates important context without requiring graphic detail. Safe partners respond with empathy and curiosity, not interrogation. They honor what's been shared and never demand more. When that happens, the survivor's body learns something new. That honesty doesn't have to lead to harm. That realization alone can be life-changing. Triggers are echoes of past fear showing up in the present. They're not misbehavior or overreactions, they're body memories. Recognizing this changes everything. Instead of saying, "What's wrong with me?" survivors can learn to ask, "What's trying to protect me right now?" That shift replaces shame with compassion. When triggers happen, communication is everything. Phrases like, "I need to pause," or "my body's reacting," or "can we slow down?" All these phrases help partners stay connected rather than defensive. Partners can learn to respond by lowering their tone, maintaining gentle distance, or grounding together with breath. The goal isn't to avoid all triggers. That's really hard to do. It's to navigate them as a team. Each time a trigger is handled gently, the nervous system learns safety through experience. Eventually, the same situations that once caused shutdown begin to feel tolerable. That's not just progress, that's profound nervous system healing in action. Grounding together is one of the simplest, most intimate ways to rebuild connection. It doesn't require talking, analyzing, or fixing, just presence. Start by sitting together in silence and noticing your breath. One person places their hand on their heart, the other mirrors it. You breathe together slowly until the rhythm matches. This is co-regulation, two nervous systems syncing to find calm. Grounding tells the body it's safe to stay. That's powerful because trauma teaches the opposite, which is to dissociate, flee, or shut down. By grounding together, you teach both bodies that safety exists in connection, not away from it. It creates new muscle memory for love. Over time, couples can make grounding a ritual before bed, after conflict, before intimacy. These moments become anchors of trust, reminders that safety isn't a concept. It's something you can feel and return to at any time. So let's talk about something that I mentioned earlier. Empathy versus fixing. Empathy is listening to understand. Fixing is listening to respond. Empathy sits beside pain and says, "I'm here." Fixing stands over it and says, "Here's what you should do." The difference is presence. For survivors, being fixed can feel like being managed or controlled. Being empathized with feels more like freedom. True empathy takes practice. It means staying present in discomfort even when you can't solve it. It's choosing to be curious instead of corrective. It's soft eyes, slow nods, and statements like, "That sounds heavy. Thank you for trusting me with it." When empathy replaces fixing, love feels safer. You stop trying to rescue your partner and you start walking beside them. That companionship transforms pain into partnership, and that's what emotional maturity looks like. Now, we talked about slowness in last week's episode. I want to talk a little bit about that today as well. Trauma recovery thrives in slowness. Quick gestures, fast escalation, or sudden intimacy can trigger the body into panic because it associates speed with unpredictability. Slowness, on the other hand, communicates control, respect, and mindfulness. It says, you're not being rushed, you're being chosen. In relationships, slowness means allowing silence between questions, giving permission to pause, and checking in before advancing emotional or physical intimacy. It's foreplay, if you will. It's foreplay for the nervous system. By slowing down, you teach the body that safety and pleasure can coexist. Slow intimacy isn't boring, it's profound. It's the art of being present enough to notice your partner's breathing, your partner's tension and comfort. When love moves slowly, both people arrive fully, not fearfully. Healing changes desire. All right, it'll change desire sometimes pretty dramatically. One partner may crave closeness to feel reassured. Another may need space to feel safe. Both needs are valid. The key is communicating these rhythms without taking them personally. I need space doesn't mean I don't love you. It means I'm recalibrating. Couples can create bridges by exploring middle ground like sensual touch without pressure for sex, or shared moments of affection that focus on connection rather than climax. These softer approaches rebuild confidence for both partners. Desire differences don't ruin intimacy, silence does. When two people talk openly about what they need, they shift from managing rejection to co creating safety. That's the true definition of sexual and emotional intelligence. And I would highly suggest, if you're watching this and you haven't seen it, I did a couple episodes a few months back on attachment styles, and that'll give you some insight as well when two partners have different attachment styles and how to communicate through that. Now, boundaries. Boundaries define where comfort begins and ends. They're not walls, they're maps. They're not walls, they're maps. And maps help both people find safety without guessing. Setting a boundary doesn't push love away, it gives it direction. Healthy partners understand that boundaries enhance intimacy. A confident no makes every yes more meaningful. It signals that consent is active and authentic, not coerced. This dynamic turns respect into desire because when you know your no is honored, you can surrender into your yes fully. Boundaries are also self care in motion. They remind survivors, my safety matters. Every time you voice one, you reclaim autonomy. Over time, that empowerment becomes the foundation of real intimacy. Reclaiming that power isn't about dominance, it's about equality. Okay? In abusive or traumatic relationships, power was often taken or weaponized. Reclaiming it means remembering you have a voice, a choice, and the right to say, this doesn't feel right. Power balanced equally between partners creates emotional democracy. True empowerment shows up quietly. It's saying, I need time without guilt. It's renegotiating dynamics that once felt rigid, and it's recognizing that you can leave a conversation to protect your peace. These small moments of agency rebuild self trust faster than grand gestures. When both partners own their power responsibly, love feels liberating, not confining. It becomes a place where each person's voice carries equal weight, and that equality is what allows pleasure, honesty, and respect to thrive. Play is healing because it interrupts fear with joy. Laughter lowers cortisol, increasing bonding hormones. And it reminds the nervous system that connection, it can be lighthearted, not heavy. Survivors often forget that pleasure and play are linked. This is their rediscovery. Play doesn't have to be sexual. It can be spontaneous dancing in the kitchen. It could be silly inside jokes, painting together, or playing with pets. These small acts retrain the brain's expectation of love from tension to tenderness. When couples laugh together, they lower the stakes of perfection. Mistakes become moments, not failures. And slowly, laughter becomes the sound of safety returning home. Healing thrives in community, not isolation, even though it is tempting to want to isolate. But friends, therapists, mentors, and support groups provide mirrors that remind you who you are outside of your trauma. They help distribute emotional weight so that no single person carries it all. In relationships, it's crucial to normalize outside help. Healthy couples encourage therapy, hobbies, and friendships as signs of strength, not disconnection. This keeps love from becoming a pressure cooker. So remember, support systems are scaffolding, not cages. They help you rebuild stability until you can stand confidently on your own again. So you're probably wondering, how do I know I'm ready for a deeper connection? Readiness for deeper intimacy is felt, not forced. It's when your body no longer braces during touch, when you can voice your needs without panic, and when you can handle small conflicts without spiraling. That calm is your nervous system's green light. Being able to change your mind mid moment is another sign of growth. Safety includes the freedom to say, stop, or I need a break, without the fear of backlash. That confidence signals full ownership of your boundaries. You'll know you're ready when love feels grounding rather than consuming, when connection feels earned instead of risky. That is when your body is saying, you're home. So I can't believe we're at the end of this episode already. I feel like that went by very quickly. I'm so passionate about this topic, so I'm going to ask you to pause here and honor your courage. Choosing to love again after trauma it's an act of rebellion against fear. Gratitude reinforces that healing each time you thank your body for surviving. You remind it that the danger is over. Reflect on one way you now show up differently. Maybe you speak more gently to yourself, or maybe you pause before reacting. That awareness is evidence of transformation. You are proof that healing, it doesn't erase the past, it redefines it. Safety, trust, and love are no longer memories of loss. They're living and breathing parts of your new story. With that, I always conclude letting you know that you're welcome to email me if you enjoyed this episode, if you can relate to this episode, or if you can relate to this entire month when it comes to domestic violence awareness and what it means to reconnect post-trauma. I'm always happy to read your stories. Also, down here, we have my socials at the Erica Rivera on all social media platforms. Please feel free to follow me. And of course, if you would like to continue to support Sexpertise on the air, please subscribe to my Patreon at patreon.com/the Erica Rivera, where I post intimacy tip sheets and we dive deeper into the topics of each episode. There's some other little perks in there too, like behind the scenes and quarterly live streams, Q&As, discounts on one-on-one sessions, and all that good stuff is on my Patreon as well. So thank you again for joining me this evening. That does conclude Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and we look forward to November. Stay curious and stay safe, and we will chat soon.